The galaxy had never been quiet. For 300 years, ever since humans first learned to listen to the stars, the void had hummed with voices. Thousands of them. The Aliri traded poetry across light years. The Ven broadcast mathematics like music. The court sent images of their 7 moons rising in perfect sequence. Every day, every hour, the cosmic network buzzed with life. Station Director James Parker stood in the observation deck of Earth's Deep Space Communication Array, watching the monitors with growing unease. The screens that usually flickered with incoming signals now showed flat lines. Empty channels. Nothing. "Run the diagnostics again," he ordered. Tech Officer Lisa Grant looked up from her console, her face pale. "Sir, I've run them 6 times. Our equipment is working perfectly. The problem isn't on our end." "And where are they?" James walked closer to the main display. The Aliri morning broadcast should have started 20 minutes ago. The Ven never stopped transmitting. "Never. I know, sir." Lisa's fingers danced across her keyboard. "I'm checking every frequency, every known channel. It's all ... empty." Another technician, Robert Mills, rolled his chair over. "Director, I've got something weird. Our own broadcasts are still going out fine. Earth's satellites, our colony on Mars, the mining stations near Jupiter, all transmitting normally. But we're not receiving anything from beyond our system." James felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. Nothing? Not even background noise? Just silence. The word hung in the air like a curse. Within an hour, every major space agency on Earth was in emergency session. Scientists crowded into conference rooms. Military officials demanded answers. News networks started broadcasting warnings that made people look up at the stars with new fear. Dr. Patricia Hayes, Earth's chief xenologist, stood before the United Space Council. "We've confirmed it across all channels. Every alien civilization that was broadcasting yesterday has gone silent. The last signal we received was from the Court homeworld exactly 14 hours ago. Then ... nothing. Could it be an attack?" asked General Marcus Stone. "On everyone? Simultaneously?" Patricia shook her head. "That's thousands of different species across the galaxy. Different technologies, different locations. Some of them were enemies of each other. What could attack them all at once?" "Then what's your theory, Doctor?" Patricia pulled up a star map. 6 weeks ago, we received a priority transmission from the Galactic Union. It was marked urgent, but we couldn't translate it properly. The message was strange, incomplete. We filed it for later study. What did it say? We couldn't be sure, but one phrase kept repeating. Our computers translated it roughly as "shut down and sleep." The silence comes. The room erupted in voices. Patricia raised her hand for quiet. We thought it was a translation error. Maybe a cultural reference we didn't understand. We sent a request for clarification, but we never got a response. 2 days later, we noticed the first signals starting to fade. Now, 6 weeks after that warning, we're alone. James Parker watched the meeting through a video feedback at the communication station. Beside him, Lisa was still monitoring the empty channels. "Director," she said quietly, "I found something." "What is it?" "I went back through our deep space probes, the ones we sent to map the outer regions. Probe 7 was near the Aliri system. Look at this footage from yesterday." She played the video. The Aliri homeworld appeared on screen, blue and green and beautiful. Cities glowed on the night side. Ships moved in orbit. Everything looked normal. Then the image flickered. For just a moment, a wave of something passed across the screen, not quite visible, more like a shimmer in space itself. When it cleared, the planet was still there. The cities still glowed. The ships still orbited. But there was a difference. Something subtle. The patterns of ship movement had stopped. The lights no longer pulsed with activity. Everything was frozen, like someone had pressed pause on an entire civilization. "They're still there," Lisa whispered. "But they're not doing anything." James stared at the screen. Somewhere out in the dark, every species in the galaxy had simply stopped. Stopped talking. Stopped moving. Stopped being alive in any way that mattered. Only Earth still shouted into the void. Only humans were still awake, Dot, and somewhere in the back of James's mind, a terrifying question formed. What were they all hiding from? The first ship to reach an alien world was the Discovery. A fast research vessel Captain David Wright had pushed to its limits. Their destination, Aliri Prime, the closest alien civilization to Earth, only 12 light-years away. "Approaching orbit now," announced pilot Rachel Torres. "The planet looks ... normal." David stared at the view screen. She was right. The planet was beautiful. Blue oceans, white clouds, green continents. Cities sparkled across the surface. Satellites drifted in their proper orbits. Everything appeared functional. Everything except the Aliri themselves. "Send the standard greeting," David ordered. They waited. Silence. Life signs? David asked. Science Officer Tom Bradley checked his scanners. "Reading millions of them, Captain. The cities are full, but there's no movement. No energy fluctuations beyond basic life support. It's like they're sleeping," Rachel finished. The Discovery landed in the capital city's main spaceport. The teen suited up and stepped out onto an alien world for the first time, without invitation, without greeting, without anyone to meet them. The city was frozen in time. Aliri citizens stood in the streets, their tall blue forms motionless. Some were mid-step. Others held tools or food. Their large eyes were open, but unseeing. They breathed. The scanners confirmed it, but they didn't wake. "This is impossible," Tom whispered, scanning a nearby Aliri. "Brain activity is there, but it's minimal. Like they're in the deepest sleep possible. But their bodies are still functioning, standing, balanced. It defies biology." David touched nothing. They walked through the silent city, documenting everything. The pattern was the same everywhere. Millions of Aliri, frozen midlife, lost in some unnatural sleep. Over the next 3 weeks, Earth sent ships to 20 different alien worlds. The report was always the same. Every species, the Ven, the Court, the Malith, the Drex, all of them trapped in the same mysterious sleep. Their world still functioned. Their technology still ran. But the beings themselves were gone, lost somewhere inside their own minds. Dr. Patricia Hayes led the research team studying the phenomenon from Earth. She barely slept anymore, poring over data, alien texts, anything that might explain. "It's not a disease," she told the council. "It's not a weapon in any traditional sense. Whatever passed through the galaxy didn't harm them. It ... protected them." Protected them from what? General Stone demanded. "That's what we need to find out." The breakthrough came from an unexpected place. A junior researcher named Kevin Park was translating old Aliri texts when he found a reference to something called the Great Sleep. The file was thousands of years old. Marked as mythology. Patricia read it 3 times before calling the emergency meeting. "It's happened before," she announced. "Not in recorded history, but in ancient times. Multiple species have legends about it. The Great Sleep is a defense mechanism." Defense against what? Patricia pulled up images on the main screen. "Against something the galaxy calls the Harvesters. Ancient machines, older than any living civilization. They appear every 100,000 years, sweeping through the galaxy. What do? They hunt consciousness, advanced thought. They're drawn to active, complex minds. They find civilizations and Erase them. Not the planets, not the bodies. Just the thinking, aware parts. The room went cold. The great sleep is triggered automatically when the harvesters are detected, Patricia continued. A wave of energy that puts all advanced minds into hibernation. Hidden, silent, invisible to the harvesters. Then why are we still awake? Asked Stone. Patricia looked at him with haunted eyes. That's the question, isn't it? The sleep wave passed through Earth 6 weeks ago. We detected it as a minor energy fluctuation. Didn't think much of it. But it should have put us to sleep like everyone else. Why didn't it? I don't know. Human consciousness must be different somehow. Maybe our brains developed differently. Maybe there's something unique about how we think. But whatever the reason, we were immune. David Wright, attending via video link from the Discovery, spoke up. Doctor, if the sleep was triggered 6 weeks ago, and the harvesters are coming ... They're probably already here, Patricia said quietly. The sleep takes time to activate across the galaxy. By the time everyone went silent, the harvesters were likely already on their way. So we're awake in a galaxy that's hiding, David said. And something is coming that eats civilizations. Yes. General Stone stood. Then we need to prepare. If we're the only ones awake, we're the only ones who can fight. Outside the windows, Earth continued its rotation, unaware that humanity had just become the guardian of a sleeping galaxy. Earth had 3 months to prepare for something it didn't understand. General Stone turned humanity's space stations into fortresses. Captain Wright led teams across alien worlds, studying their weapons and shields. Scientists like Patricia Hayes worked day and night, trying to unlock technologies that had taken other species thousands of years to develop. We're children playing with adult tools, Tom Bradley said, staring at a Venn energy weapon he couldn't activate. Then we learn fast, David replied. Or we die. Humanity did what it always did best. It adapted. They couldn't understand the elegant alien technology, so they made it crude. They took O'Leary shields and powered them with human reactors. They mounted Corp weapons on Earth battleships using welding and hope. Nothing was pretty. Nothing was perfect. But it worked. The harvesters arrived on a Tuesday. The first detection came from Mars Colony. Sensor operator Julie Adams was drinking coffee when her screen lit up like a star had exploded. Contact! She shouted. Multiple contacts. Hundreds of them. Coming from beyond Neptune. The things that entered human space looked like geometric nightmares. Massive structures of black metal and impossible angles. They moved in perfect formation, silent and cold. Energy readings were off every chart. They're scanning, reported Tom from the Discovery. Sweeping every planet, every moon. They're looking for something. Looking for minds, Patricia said from Earth. Active, thinking minds. The harvesters found Earth. Within an hour, 20 of the massive machines broke formation and accelerated toward the small blue planet. Their scans intensified, probing, searching. They had found what they came for, a world still awake, still thinking, still loud with consciousness. All ships engage. General Stone ordered. Humanity's fleet moved to intercept. 30 warships against 20 ancient killers. The battle began in the space between Earth and Mars. Not human weapons fired crude, loud, explosive. Missiles and railguns and laser arrays. The harvesters' shields absorbed everything easily. Their return fire was surgical, precise. The warship Defiant exploded in the first 30 seconds. Their shields are too strong. Captain Wright shouted. Our weapons can't. Then something strange happened. A harvester targeting the Discovery suddenly stopped. Its scan pattern flickered. It drifted off course, as if confused. Another harvester fired at empty space, missing the courage by 1,000 kilometers. What's happening? Wright demanded. Patricia was watching the data feeds, her eyes wide. It's us. Our minds. They can't. They can't predict us. What? The harvesters hunt logical, ordered consciousness. Mathematical minds. Predictable patterns. But humans. She laughed, almost hysterical. We're chaos. We're random. We do illogical things. We feel emotions that make no sense. They can't track us because we don't think straight. Wright understood instantly. All ships break formation. Random patterns. Don't do anything logical. Confuse them. The human fleet scattered in every direction. Ships dove and spun and zigzagged with no pattern, no sense. Pilots made decisions based on gut feelings and wild guesses. It was messy. It was stupid. It worked. The harvesters' perfect targeting systems couldn't lock on. Their predictions failed. These minds weren't computing. They were feeling, guessing, hoping. One pilot, James Chun, avoided 3 shots by following what he later called a weird hunch. Another, Maria Santos, survived by doing the exact opposite of what made sense. Humanity attacked in waves of controlled chaos. They fired randomly, moved unpredictably, and somehow started landing hits. When harvester shields adapted to missile attacks, humans switched to railguns. When railguns failed, they rammed them with unmanned drones loaded with explosives. The battle lasted 6 hours. Humanity lost 12 ships and 3,000 people. But when it ended, 19 harvesters were destroyed, and the last one retreated. The remaining harvester fleet stopped at the edge of the solar system. They scanned Earth one final time, as if trying to understand what had happened. Then they turned and left, disappearing into deep space. Humanity had won because they were too messy to predict. 3 days later, the galaxy woke up. On Illyri Prime, the blue figures blinked and moved. On the Ven Hovold, scientists continued calculations they'd started months ago. On the court stations, families resumed dinners that had gone cold. None of them remembered sleeping. None of them knew what had happened. But their sensors showed them everything. They saw the battle. They saw the harvesters. They saw humanity, the young, loud, chaotic species standing guard while they slept. Captain Wright stood on the bridge of the Discovery, watching as the first grateful message arrived from Illyri Prime. "Thank you," it said simply. "You stayed awake. You protected us." More messages followed. Hundreds, then thousands. Every species in the galaxy sending the same message to Earth. The galaxy had fallen silent. Only Earth knew why. And when the darkness came, only Earth had been awake to fight it. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not as conquerors or explorers, but as guardians. The ones too stubborn, too chaotic, and too human to sleep when the galaxy needed them most.